Hello, welcome to another Know Thy Enemy. We're going to be playing Jeskai Wildfire today. This deck has been a ton of fun. We already played a very first league. 2.5 hour league. Yes, that is correct. Half an hour per match. And it was actually almost exactly half an hour per match, which I thought was pretty hilarious. Opponent moves to 6. This hand is potentially very good, but it's not actually very good. Sure, let's yellow. Turn 1 Sanctuary, turn 2 Flagstones. If we find the land, we can Teferi, we can dig towards our next land. It's not bad. Okay. Actually, I think I might have messed up. I think it was better for me to play Flagstones there, because the upside of drawing a land is just so huge. Yeah, I should have definitely played Wildfire there. Infect. Playing against Infect. Well, I guess I got rewarded by my play, so that's cool. I'm remanding anything because I need to find a land. If I do get to Tef, we can also force, which I'm probably doing. Yeah, that's definitely getting remanded. Spell Pierce. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Probably gonna get Spell Pierced here. But I think I'd rather force the +5 effect, right? Alright, we need to top deck exactly land right now. Oh, they just have lethal? No. Okay, yeah, so we need to top deck a land right now. If we top deck exactly a land, do we have a shot? Land? Nope. Alright, nice and easy. I feel lacking removal for this matchup. I feel like my removal is lacking a little bit. We have the Madcap package against aggro, but obviously the Madcap package doesn't do anything against Infect. I do like the Wildfires because they allow me to kill Link Moth Nexus, so... God damn it, am I gonna be in the same spot again? I feel like I have to. Hopefully they play Glistener Elf instead of a Hierarch. Sweet. Yep. Mana Issues is the name of the game. When I did the deck in the first video, which you can check out on my YouTube obviously, this is exactly what I described, what I established as this deck's weakness. We definitely want to take this point of damage because it doesn't do too much. Second Glistener Elf. Just fucking desperate for a land here, unfortunately. Brutal. Yeah. The mana in this deck is pretty bad. A lot in the previous league we lost. We didn't lose that much, honestly, but like what we lost to the most was the mana. In fact, when we played the very last match, that's literally just what we lost to. I guess I should have gusted there. Muldrota, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the Primetime Stronghold. Thank you for your support. I think because we have the Force, I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna pitch Tef. And Painsy59 with the Prime sub as well. Thank you so much, both of you. Welcome first-time subscribers. Thank you for the support. I hope you're enjoying your stay here, the Primetime Stronghold. So we need a red source like right now. Red source now. Fuck, man. Every time. Remember when this was a Trident stream? I recommend you check out literally every other day. I recommend checking in literally any other day that is not Fridays. Fridays is the day that I don't play Titan. Okay, I'm done with this game. I am over this game. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, lesson learned. We are never ever keeping a 2-lander with bad mana ever again. Super performance. Thank you so much, Painsy. Welcome. Bienvenue. That's how you say welcome, right? Merci. I know merci. I think you're used to running 33 lands. No, I literally, when we did the deck tech, I have yet to wildfire my own flagstones, yet flagstones has already been terrible multiple games. So that is like the only thing that I don't know about this deck is I am not sure that this. I like the wildfires a lot. Like this card has actually been good, but I like using it on my opponent's lands. Basically I have not used it on my own land as of yet in the first 6 matches that I have played, and flagstones has been terrible. Having access to 4 flagstones in your mana makes your mana completely horrendous. Like any of these flagstones could be more fetch lands, they could be more triumphs or more steam vents or hallowed fountain, but instead they are flagstones because of the engine with cleansing wildfire. So that is the thing. Yeah, they could also be Field of Ruins. I understand why we're not playing Field of Ruin. It's because what's his name? That's kind of exactly what Wildfire does. But yeah, I mean, I just said that I'm not gonna keep a hand like this, so I'm not going to. All right, sweet. So maybe we get to Flagstone my own land? Question mark. Keep this spot on the Helix. And with Lurrus, I think that my opponent's probably on the Jund version of this deck is kind of what's happening right now. Okay, now we see the power, right? Obviously, now we got the combo going, but get an island with Wildfire, we draw a card, we find Triumph. Basically Splinter Twin. So we literally started match 1 where we get grossly punished by our flagstones, and then we immediately queue into a match where it's the absolute nuts. Classic. All right, so let's play this. Absolutely classic. I have so many cryptics that I think I'm interested in basically countering whatever my opponent plays. It doesn't really matter what it is. Maybe not a Seal of Fire, but I'm probably just countering literally anything else. Like I don't care at all about this Magmatic Channeler, but I care about using my mana though, so let's do. I think I want to do Mountain. It actually matters to not shock there, because I definitely suspect my opponent's playing Scourge. And this means that if they play a Scourge, even if they Seal of Fire me, I still am one Helix away from stabilizing that Scourge, basically. Ooh. Alright. Let's do that one. With a completely clear board. I guess that we can't really play around Bolt anyway, so I'm just gonna Brainstorm. Scratch that, we actually can play around Bolt. I like these Cryptics. Would love to find a land, I'll tell you that though. And spot on both of... I guess I'm just shipping the 4s. And there's a Snapcaster on top of my deck. Just 5-0 with Splashless Amulet Friend, made some mistakes on the mana base, really enjoyed for Castle for turn Timber. Yeah, I've been actually thinking about that. Okay, so we trade with the Lightning Bolt. There's a Snap on top of my deck, which I might want to shuffle away. But yeah, I can show you afterwards, just say if you're gonna stay around here, what's where I'm at. Seal of Fire at me. Traverse for Shadow. Traverse Croxa combo deck. Traverse Croxa combo deck. So yeah, there's a force on top of my deck. I'm just gonna shuffle. I need a deck to spike in Modern Event tomorrow. What should I play? I need a deck that can be played without knowledge of the meta. Play something senseless like Tron then. Remand? Which version? Mono green. You don't need to think about anything with mono green. Or Boggles. I don't think they're good decks, but you don't need to know the meta to play to win with them. You don't need to know about Modern, period, to win with them. That's kind of the point of those decks. There's the Shadow, and maybe we're gonna see the Croxa now. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the White? No, I have not. I think we're still okay here. I'm just gonna cycle this Shark Typhoon. Is that a meme? I think I'm just gonna pitch this. This is the ferry. Would love to find one of my Path to Exiles. One, two, three, four, five, six. Beginning of combat, I'm just gonna tap and draw, I think. Flagstones. Sure. Got my flagstones. Now what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need to play this Sanctuary if I want to get back the Cryptic. So I guess I'm just gonna hold up double Cryptic here. Alternatively, I can just like get a Sacred Foundry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, just get a Sacred Foundry. It's fine. So the thing is that I need to be playing this as my land for turn, right? And I want to draw this Cryptic command, so just have to do it like this. I'm such a boomer sometimes. Oh, I'm a boomer all the time. What do you mean sometimes? A boomer sometimes. Jeez. So let's counter and we can bounce the Crocs. We can also counter draw. I like counter draw. I feel like I need to... I feel like unfortunately I'm in a situation where I need to find a Jace or a Teferi or something. Like I need to find something that's going to give me value over and over again. So unfortunately now I'm dead. Shit. Bouncing Sanctuary doesn't do anything because I can't draw. We can draw now. That's why I, in order to establish the Cryptic lock, is why I need to find a card like Jace the Mind Sculptor. That is exactly the point. Jace, Teferi, any of those would do, but unfortunately we didn't find it. So they're permanent, and we tap all creatures. And I think we need to top deck exactly Jace or Teferi. If we top deck exactly Jace or Teferi, I guess that we can also draw like a Path to Exile. But I already used all 3 Cryptics and I already used my Mystic Sanctuary, so Like I'm out. I am out of. We take 6, 12. We gain 3, so we're at 17. We take 12 plus 3 is 15. I think we're just dead here. But... Oh, this is lethal with the 2 damage from the seal. That really sucks. We whiffed for a long time there. My opponent showed me K-Command. I still think I won the Platinum Imperium package just because these cards are so bad. Or man, this medium against Croxa. Feel like I like Gust better. And not by much. It's funny how the Platinum Imperium package sometimes is incredible and sometimes it just takes up so many slots. What are the best decks in Modern right now? Color, the soup decks. I like the shadow decks, particularly red-black, and that's kind of it. Those are the tier 1s. Even the shadow decks, I don't know if they are. No, I think that they're pretty good. Blue Eye Jeskai Control makes me think that Sanctuary isn't the problem. I mean, it still kind of sucks, right? But yeah, I mean, I would ban Uro before Sanctuary. I don't think that's even a question. I think that's a statement. But Sanctuary enables other decks, right? Like blue-red, breach style decks, this deck. What do you think Humans deck in Modern? It's fine. It's a good deck. I don't have very many thoughts about it. Literally never played a single game with the deck, so I think it's good. It wins, and it top 8s very, very regularly, so I assume it's good. Really hate Sanctuary, like is it cool Blue Moon to, but I hate it in the Euro pilots. I think that it's one of those things that has, you know, repetitive play patterns, and it's the same thing as, you know, Lantern Control. In terms of power level, like it's pretty messed up, right? Because it's just a land. But the worst thing about the Sanctuary is how bad the play patterns are. Like just like getting Sanctuary over and over and over and over again, like it just feels like shit. Like it's a terrible feeling, and you just cannot get out of it. Like once the lock has been established and your opponent has a walker or something going on, it's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Granted, it's a lock that comes together on turn like 8. You can't cryptic lock anybody on turn 2, right? So, but it is, I don't know, it just goes from like this game is close, this game is close, this game is close, and then it's like, oh, it's over. So that is kind of the thing that I don't like too much. The fact that it just ends things. Like it's just over. Did they target me? with bubble. Yeah, so I guess they know about the Hase. Maybe I should have cycled the Wildfire. Just blow up my opponent's lands. Sanctuary, but Scribbling is always fun because they banned Mycos in Lattice, not Sanctuary. Yeah, I don't know. Suck to play against, but it's not broken enough to get banned. Yeah, just like Mycos in Lattice. Good example by Scrotus McGee is just. Alright, so we're cycling. Do I want to blow up? I think I want to blow up the red source. Because I think that they might play a basic forest, but I'm fairly sure that they can't really play a basic mountain. So I forced them to have an land. They did have the other land, so whatever. But going for. Take some damage here. Sucks because now my opponent's Scourge is enabled, but it is what it is. Channeler. Well, we can just Helix that and my opponent knows it, which is weird. Okay. That just happened. Sounds good to me. So we can't really play around Veil of Summer. So if my opponent has Veil, we're just kind of fucked. Gonna counter draw here. If they didn't play anything, I was going to just bounce this on end step. They have Veil. Yeah, I mean we couldn't win this game regardless. That there was just no way. It's brutal. Shit. That Veil is just backbreaking. Nothing to be done. Path would allow us to come back. My opponent has Spell Bomb, so I don't think... I guess if they go after the Teferi, I think I'd rather just throw this guy under the bus here. Again, like, they just have a Spell Bomb sitting here, so I'm never gonna get to flashback anything of relevance, so might as well save my Planeswalker. Got him! Get wrecked, opponent. Nice Inquisition. I will find like the madcap thing. I guess I'm gonna put the madcap on top this turn. Because it forces my opponent to crack the spell bomb. without being able to draw. Exactly. Got him. They can't draw. Just gonna have to Cryptic Tap here. Man, we're just super far behind. Doesn't do it, chat. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. Looking for Cryptic, that's why I cycle like this. Womp womp. Alright, so we're gonna double chump here, I guess. We can also draw into a Path to Exile. We lose to removal. That Veil was everything. That Veil was absolutely everything. If they didn't have the Veil on that turn, we might have been able to turn the corner. I guess maybe I can draw Madcap off the top. That's my out. Madcap. It's not it. Madcap off the top would have given me an out, and then my opponent... They're drawing 2 cards a turn, so I don't think it's going to be working for a while, but... Brutal. Brutal. We really get got by the mana. I wonder if you can just not play the Flagstones at all and just make your mana a lot better. This could be maybe like 1 basic island, 1 Hallowed Fountain, 1 Steam Vents, and 1 more fetch land maybe. I guess I could put a little delta. Because you have 4 cleansing Wildfires here, you probably don't need the fields. What's up, Thalia? Can you run more than 1 Jeskai Triumph? You can, but it comes to a point where just the ATB tap lands just hit you. Sure, let's keep this. So you can, but that doesn't mean that you should, basically. Alright, what we got? Sacred Foundry. Sacred Foundry could mean a variety of things. I don't think I'm pathing on turn 1 because my opponent could have Eidolon maybe. So I just want to see Helixes. Helixes all over. Give me all them Helixes. Is it just Burn? I haven't played against Burn in so long. So long. I think I'm gonna path here. The reason for that is then I can untap and play Teferi, and Teferi is uncontested. And unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to fetch Shock here. Know what you're gonna be doing against the burn deck, but Spell Snare. Yeah, he got me. We could get a white. We could just get a basic plains. Alternatively. Okay. This means that this Mystic Sanctuary is gonna suck. Please don't have a creature. If this trades for 2 burn spells, I'm okay with that, but I don't want it to trade for an attack on a burn spell. Portal's Charm. Just good old burn. Yep, just good old burn. We are kinda fucked. Helix, please. So the only way that I can win is we need to find Force of Negation here. Force. Yeah. This and this. And these. Cut those. Those suck. These suck. This one kind of sucks. Shark Typhoon kind of sucks. Wildfire also kind of sucks. This league is not going as well as the previous one, but that's okay. At least it's going faster. It is at least going faster than the previous league. His hand just doesn't do anything, right? This one's better. Not by much, but... Gobo, hook me up. Land. Yes. Second Gobo. Okay. Trigger number 1. Land. Trigger number 2. Platinum Imperium. Damn it, the jig is up now. Definitely Helixing now because my opponent stepped out of Skullcrack. gonna path themselves, bolt their own gobbo. You do realize that that's exactly the same outcome, right? That bolt would have gone to my face, so we had exactly the same outcome that we would have had otherwise. No, the jig is up. I think so, right? I'm pretty sure that it's the jig. Madcap experiment on top. Gust that guy. Put it on the bottom. Good. Rolling vortex. Okay. So I'm giving my opponent exactly one turn. I guess it's not Excel control, but they need to have a smash the smithereens right now, kind of. Which they don't have. Got him. Okay, so now they're gonna have answers to that for sure. Probably wear tear. Maybe smash the smithereens. Let me just do the same thing. I kind of like Anger of the Gods, but on the draw, it's a little bit shaky. Like, I'd rather have access to path, bolts. It's a little bit shaky on the draw. I suspect this matchup is not very good for us. Though I guess yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It depends on how often you draw the madcap. How's it feeling? We played a first league where the deck felt very good, and then in this second league we are kind of starting to see a little bit what the fail rate of the deck is. Mostly it's mana. I think that the deck's mana it's quite poor. Flagstones asks a lot from your mana. Flagstones really asks a lot from your mana. Another Swift Spear is brutal. This is the same amount of damage, so I'd rather get one of these out of the board. So I'm gonna get Sacred Foundry. Just bolt one of these. I really figured the Triumph would really help. Yeah, but sometimes you just don't draw the Triumph. Also 24 lands. I think the 24 lands is very, very few for a control deck. Spike likes to build his control decks with a very limited amount of lands. Usually I'm a lot more comfortable when my control decks have like 25 or even sometimes 26 lands. So I think we have to do this and get a little bit lucky. Put Eidolon on the bottom. Land is kind of huge there, so I can get a basic plains. And I can main phase do this. My opponent stepped out. You like lands for the surprise? Yeah, I know. Second Eidolon is not a surprise, really. So we need to draw any land easy. Easy, and we have protection for the madcap. That was a huge draw. Absolutely massive. Cycle resolves. Sure. Get Island and get Triumph. And we're gonna serve with the Empyrean. Because if they take it, now they're locked out. My opponent just locked themselves out of the game. I mean, they can't use these lands. And they can't cast spells. So I basically don't attack and don't block from now on. I don't attack and don't block, and I just hit land drops, hit land drops, hit land drops, hit land drops, and eventually I'm gonna get there. Alright. Figure it out. So Wildfire plus Stroker is basically just a way to do Boros Ramp. Yeah, Forgotten Orb, yeah. So it is a mixture. You of course the value is in the ramp. So the value is in the card. Like this is a card that's pretty solid for its rate, and it's pretty disruptive against many strategies. And you are playing the Flagstones because it is a way for, even when it's dead, you still get some value from it, right? And you have a proactive way of using the Wildfire. Personally, after playing the deck for 8 matches at this point, it feels like the Flagstones package is powerful, but it just feels like the mana is not quite there. So the fact that the mana is not quite there makes it a little bit awkward. I guess I keep this. But I have lost multiple games already with just a fistful of cards that I could not cast because my mana was all over the place. There's also the fact that you're playing a deck with not only a bad mana base, but also you're playing a deck with a bad mana base that also plays Lightning Helix and Cryptic Command, right? So your mana is not only bad, but it's also stretched on so many directions, and it's pretty tough to make work. Okay, so we're playing a control mirror, so we're gonna have to settle in for a long one. Would have loved to cycle Wildfire there, but don't think we really can. Okay, so Bug Sultai. That is a card. That is indeed a card. Wow, imagine if I had drawn Teferi there. That would have been great. Yeah. Gotcha. Alright, we found the land. I guess that I fucked up the sequencing there if I was gonna be doing that. Now I'm gonna have to shock for this. Would you add another fetch or another shock as your 25th land? That's a good question. I think I would add... interesting. I think I would probably add Shockland. Probably red producing Shockland. Should I have Snapcaster there? The problem of Snapcaster in there is that we do get to blow up their land and we use our mana more efficiently, but if my opponent has a remand, we get super wrecked. Definitely remand in this, 100%. Oof. I just think I just have to Wildfire myself. Like it just gives me such a huge mana advantage. I could have blown up their forest, and it's not unlikely that they might not have another basic. So there's definitely a lot of upside there, but it just feels... Well, that's kind of desperation mode, so I'm gonna do that. Now I'm gonna block this time around. Down to 6. Yes, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus. I'm not gonna path the Tasigur. Scour me? Sure. Oh, drown in the lock, that's why. Because of drown. Yeah, this list only runs one Steam Vents. Blood Chief is Thirst. It's cool. So I'm going to attempt to Helix plus Bolt. And if my opponent does have a remand, I'm just gonna path the Banana King. So Helix plus Bolt. So they can... Just worked, sweet. Okay. All right, we're looking good here. Mostly on the back of my opponent's deck kind of not working, of course, but I guess we do take those. Now this is actually a good one. Do I blow up the green source here, or do I blow up my own Flagstones again? The problem if I blow up my own Flagstones is that I don't get the value from... I cannot find my Cryptic. I think I'm gonna... Yeah, let's just continue making sure that I just have the huge mana advantage. Easy. And let's just make sure that we just naturally find the card that we were looking for. Easy. It's pretty straightforward. Whitelisted, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna draw for turn, and I'm going to activate the fairy with the ability on the stack. Mystic Sanctuary back. Cryptic command. What this does is if my opponent wanted to get queued with something like an Assassin's Trophy or whatever, we at least make sure that we drew from the Teferi. So you play control as a Titan player, just the Rampart? Yeah, exactly, the best part, right? Snapcaster. This is fine, because also my opponent messed up. Now I can Helix this. And I just have more mana. Sure. You gotta go, Squatter. This is definitely an interesting one. Why would they be playing Ghost Squatter instead of Field? Because they don't seem to be splashing red for Ren, so... Opponent has given up. Alright, so against the control matchup. Dispute sounds good. Tail Send counters the Banana King. I guess I'd rather Bolts over Helixes. Bolt, I guess, kills Jace. Path answers Udo. Tail Send also does. Gust also does. I'm not sure how many Gusts I want. I don't think I want that many. Like, I don't think I would want all 3 Gusts. Two and 2. This counters Planeswalkers. Yeah, okay. Just gotta play a ramp control. Mono tapped lands. We're totally gonna miss land drops. We're totally gonna miss land drops, but I feel like I have to keep. If we draw nothing but lands, we're already failing. If we draw nothing but lands, then this hand is excellent, but... What's up, Torben Fosh? How's it going? Million Euro piles. I think that Spike likes Nexus against this kind of deck, but I don't really. I think that the chance that you have it in your hand just sitting and doing nothing is a little bit too high for my liking. So I'm not super into it. Oh, okay, so we can't ever win. Misty and Field of Ruin. Yeah, I don't think we can win this game. My opponent has life from the loam. How am I supposed to win when my opponent has life from the loam in their deck? Playing the deck, the high chance of never finding the third land when you keep it 2 land. Those are facts, Mudrata. Those are just facts. I kind of love what opponent's got going on over there. Growth Spiral is kind of brutal here. Please don't have it. Please don't have it. Gracias. Upa. Some good stuff. That field is gonna own me. So as the Jeskai player, my advantage in this matchup is having access to Teferi and stuff like that. Misty, Delta Misty. I just don't think I can really... I could gust this just to use my mana. I think I'm going to. The problem is I'm short on mana. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be finding the land that I'm missing, and oh no, they're gonna play a Banana King here. My opponent's deck's pretty cool. It's probably not very good, but it's doing some very interesting stuff. Why not remand to find lands? Please don't have dispute, please don't have dispute, please don't have... Yes! Yes! You see, if this was a fetch land, a shock land, a red source, we would be in a lot better shape, but... Okay, so Delta, Swamp, Misty. Also, that means they can't play the Banana Dude. You just have Decay. Ashiok. Sure. Oh yeah, my opponent's a minuser. Love to see it. We don't have mana for Cryptic. You know what I'm saying about the mana for this deck, right? You see what I'm saying about the mana for this deck. Good old Azorius control, yeah, I know. Straight up blue-white, no splash control. The classic. The classic. Oh yeah, go at it, opponent. Minus away. I guess minusing is slightly better, but like if I have a Shark Typhoon, I get to super punish them. So they 1, 2, 3. I float blue, I find the blue. One, two, three. Now we get to Cryptic bounce the Ashiok. We have the fairy, so there's nothing they can do. And we find... Steam Vents is gone. Shit. We can tail send the Ashiok. Actually, it doesn't really matter too much anymore, even. But I kind of want to use my spells. Just a fairy taking over this game, obviously. As we expected. Should definitely stone ray myself. For sure. That's a Dassiger. Perfect draw. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4 Jace. Stifle a fetch land? No. What for? Now I can counter Dassiger on the way down again. I guess I would just remand it. The rare Jace bounce. Alright, that's a problem. We need to find a freaking Flagstone ASAP. Cleansing Wildfire, sorry. We don't even have a red source. Remand it. They played land already, so. Let's do this. There's a Wildfire. Let's find a red source. There's a red source. No, it is. Yeah. All right, sweet. So can throw this and this back. Oh, I should have thrown the bolt back. Never mind. This 1, 2. Wildfire that. Pew, 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 pew. Got him. Does this deck have no graveyard hate whatsoever? Yep. I just realized that. So I guess if we get paired against Dredge, we just hope that the Singer of the Gods gets us there. And I guess Madcap is probably pretty solid against Dredge, but once they see it, they just need to put some grudges in their deck. And that's fine. Yeah, Madcap is good, but it's really easy for them to answer once they see it, right? So we're gonna get them on game 2, and then for game 3, because we're losing game 1 basically. But then on game 3, they just bring in a couple of grudges, and they always have access to those grudges. So it's pretty good. Just sack flagstones get bug. Oh wait. Playing against Diablo. Not Diablo, but Diablo, which I guess is the devil's cousin. I'm not like thrilled about this hand, but it's okay. It's kind of okay. Are we playing the mirror? Oh, we're playing the mirror. That's hilarious. The actual mirror match. 30 seconds ahead on clock. Winning already. I think my opponent needs to draw. Oh no. They did have lands. So if they have the ferry here, we are in a lot of trouble. If they have land plus the ferry, that is. I guess it's not the end of the world, because we have this lightning bolt. They have Sensor. My opponent has Sensor, chat. I think if they don't do anything on end step, I'm just gonna Cryptic bounce their Triumph. Well, I guess I'm not gonna do it now, but cycle here to just to dig a little bit deeper. Flooding a little bit over here. I guess flooding on Cryptics, which is not the worst thing to be flooding on, huh? Bolt my Shark resolves. I think I might even just... I think I'm gonna just counter draw here. Blue, 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 white. Mostly I want to get these Cryptics out of my hand. I just have too many and I'm probably not going to have enough time for all of them. So we know we're drawing a remand, so even if my opponent has a Teferi here, we're fine. We don't care too much about it. Yeah, I don't know why they're going after the basics instead of going after the duels. think it's time, chat. Oh, I misclicked. Brutal. Oh, saved. Woo! Remand my bolt. Sure. So many remands. I just wanted to have a clock in play basically here. That's why I did this. Snap. We're gonna do the same thing that they did. We're just gonna remand the lightning bolt. Force is not bad. I think I like my spot overall. I'm not gonna path there, Snappy. I'd rather save the path for a big shark. We're gonna trade here, we're gonna slow down a little bit. That's okay, I think. Just gonna throw out there another Snapcaster probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just gonna remand that. Counter draw. We have answers to their planeswalkers, so we also have force. 3 Mystic Sanctuaries. Damn. That's a lot of Mystic Sanctuaries. My list is only playing 3. Sure. They plus on themselves. Let's get back to force, because we already have a cryptic. And now we're going to bolt, snap, bolt. The good thing is that they didn't get to brainstorm. Excuse me. Alright, so I guess this is what my opponent's playing over here. It's honestly not the end of the world. But I am very... That explains, by the way, what they were doing earlier, right? That explains what they were doing earlier by going after the basics instead of going after the duels. Cycle Shadowed out, that's how they use their blue mana there. Oh, I guess I could have done this at instant speed. Duh. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4. Jace plus bottom. No. They can resolve Blood Moon here. I don't think I care too much. Shadow of Doubt is a card. Wildfire my island. I think we're out of basics. I guess that's the combo that they're playing, like Wildfire plus Shadow Doubt. It's bad this because the Shadow Doubt is still active this turn. And now we just win? Yeah, exactly. I don't know if my opponent planned that out pretty effectively. It would have been a lot better for them to just like slam the Blood Moon while they had a chance. Huh. Guess that's what we're playing against. Nikachu with the raid, thank you for coming here. We got a fish raid, hell yeah, it's the best kind of raid. Welcome everybody from Nikachu stream. We're doing Know Thy Enemy today. If you're familiar with my content, you will know that it's pretty, how can I say it, Titan heavy. So on Fridays, I basically force myself to get out of my comfort zone and we play some tier deck that is not Amulet or Reclaimer or something like that, you know? So that's what we're seeing right now. So welcome all of you to Know Thy Enemy. Just 5-0 with Vampires? Fuck yeah. Let's go. That is awesome. The Halloween special, nice, nice. Cool idea. I think I'm just going to Wildfire my Flagstones here. We can get remanded. Spell Snare is brutal. Blood Moon would actually be a big deal here. I mean, on our Multi 5, I think that we needed to do that because it's the only way that we can kind of undo our mulligan. And we're already a little bit behind, so I thought that it made sense. Ooh, my opponent's missed a land drop. All right, that's how we come back. This is what we need to come back. Nah. I would rather you not do that. Nikachu Vampire Master, hell yeah. I wonder if I should have actually just flashed back the Wildfire there while I had the chance. I wonder. Gonna cycle Typhoon here. I would love to make a 4/4 with this, but I just don't really think I can afford to just pass the turn here. I would love if I could make it 4/4 so he can survive Lightning Bolts, particularly because here my opponent could have Snap Bolt, but also cycling is... I really want to cycle, basically. The 3/3 is pretty much free, but I really would like to cycle here. So that's why I'm doing this. Opponent's idea is interesting, actually. It's a different way of building around Wildfire. And that was an excellent exchange for them. And we continue to draw blanks, which sucks. They didn't put Bolt on top, they put a this thing on top, which is good for them. Just wondering if we can use the if we draw Titan we win for any Shark Typhoon deck. I don't know if it translates the same, she said. Not sure it translates the same. I don't think I'm supposed to slam this to Fairy right now. I need a little bit of protection. My opponent showed me Archmage's Charm and stuff too. Yeah, there you go. So... Shadowed out. This is a devastating turn. This is an absolutely devastating turn, but there's nothing I can do about it. Absolutely devastating turn. If they have the force for this guy, we're yeah. All right, so we can pack it in, move into the next game. Honestly, when we moved to 5, I didn't think that we were gonna win, but for a second I thought I was a little bit hopeful, and then when we just drew all 3 of our Lightning Bolts. My opponent is making a significantly better use of Cleansing Wildfire than I am. In the matchup, that is, of course. Missing land drops, the vein of my existence with this deck. Missing land drops, the vein of my existence. Playing around, shadowed out. Missing land drops. Every single time. Missing land drops. And we're showing like weakness here, so we're super fucked. Like my opponent's going to go for it. Dodge one there. Third land fires. Let's do that. Put it on the bottom. Okay. Yes, put Gust on top. We're gonna Wildfire that. Are we? Or do we just jump Jace? No, I think we just pass and we instead Bouncer dude. Okay, so it looks like my opponent is also playing not enough lands in their deck, and counter draw. I think we have to slam Jace. Probably gonna get forced. I'm playing into bold, but my opponent's missing land drops, and if that's what they're doing, I'm probably okay with that. At this point, jeez, we have so much stuff now. We're definitely holding on to the Gust, because if my opponent plays a Blood Moon, we just let it resolve. And we just fetch for a blue source. So I think I'm just gonna ship this and ship the Snapcaster? I think so, right? I'm not gonna shuffle if I'm given the choice. That's fine. Sweet. And now we can slam Baby Tef. Force backup. Remand. Just get an island and a shock land, and I'm just going to recast this thing. It's definitely important to get the island. But this was the price. When I played the Jace, I played the Jace because I wanted the Teferi to be the big one. This is the one that I really wanted to resolve. I think that Teferi is really tough for my opponent to answer. Draw 2, that's fine. They can hit their land drop, and that's okay. My opponent says lose to the buy twice because I can't find the 4 length ever. I guess we are the buy. Not so much. Not so much. To be fair, my opponent's deck felt a lot better for that pseudo mirror than mine was, but it was the Fund Raveler just did some serious nonsense there. That's a very interesting approach to building the deck for my opponent. Definitely interested in see, because if they're playing a 23 land control deck, you know, or something like that, it is, you know, a little bit more understandable why they didn't find the hand drops. I don't think any that it has the fairy is a buy for a control deck. That's a good point, but sure. Blue are usually favored, but it doesn't warrant their saltiness. Was that blue red? They showed me like triumphs and stuff. Like they did show me white. I guess they didn't show me white cards. Maybe they had white cyber cards, Yendrek. They just have the 1 triumph for value. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So they have white cyber cards. That makes sense to me. Yeah. That was a lot of Mystic Sanctuaries that my opponent had. I don't know if I would be happy to... If I would be happy to have that many triumphs, that many Mystic Sanctuaries in my Blue Moon deck, you know? There's definitely... Like, my opponent Blood Moon me in game 1, and they had 2 islands, right? So... Alright, sweet. We managed to 0-2 and then we rallied back to get the 3-2. So always feels good when that happens. In the previous league, we started with the 4-0 and then lost the last one. So we're splitting our losses in a very in chunks, right? Like 4 wins, 3 losses, 3 wins. I think running 4 is very strong in Blue Moon. Doesn't that conflict with your lands, Yendrek? You know a lot more about that than I do, so that I am just asking from my side of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this deck is powerful. I kind of want to add a land. I don't know what that land should be. The other alternative would be to not play the full 4 flagstones. The other alternative would be to just not play flagstones at all. And just play this shell, but just with good mana. I think that there's a lot of ways to approach this deck, but 24 lands felt like not enough. If you get Moon Online, it usually wins by itself, and having 4 helps a lot with recasting Wildfire, Anger, whatever impactful instant over and over again. That's fair. That's fair. You're also playing, I imagine, all islands, right? Like you have like one mountain and everything else is an island. So you probably don't struggle too much to get Mystic Sanctuary online. That's cool though. That's cool. That's a cool way of building with Wildfires. The main deck Shadow Doubts, like for that deck, I would say that Amulet is a buy, right? Like you're playing main deck Shadow Doubts, you're playing main deck Blood Moons, you're playing main deck Cleansing Wildfires. That is what I would call the buy. Calling Jeskai the buy is seems like a little bit of an overstatement. But yeah, I just don't like playing control decks with less than 25 or 26 lands, man. Both of these leagues that we played today, I feel like our mana was the thing that I lost every single match to. The only one was when I flooded against John. That was the only time that we didn't lose to our mana, and we actually lost to like my opponent's cards. Yeah, 24 with no counter seems like so low. I still remember when like blue-white control would basically everybody would play 24 lands in blue-white control, and then somebody would realize that actually going up to 25 was great, and everybody would go up, and everybody's win percentage would go up, and then they would go up to a 26 land, and now everybody's playing 26, and it's just like we every time have more lands. And people are realizing that it's better and better, but in this deck, for whatever reason, we're going all the way down to 24. But yeah, but Spike used to play like blue-white miracles with 22 lands. When he won that PTQ online, it was with a control deck with 22 lands, which is completely ridiculous to me. Buenas noches, una pregunta, si no tenés nada de pool en físico de Modern, ¿crees que es buena opción montar la Iset Blitz, luego ir consiguiendo pool para luego poder montar barajas con parte del color rojo, que es el que más me suele jugar? ¿O qué opción me recomiendas? Puedes responder en inglés sin problema, un saludo. Alright, respondo en inglés para que entienda la gente. So the question is, if you don't have a paper collection, what would be the best way to approach getting it? So what I always recommend is you have to start with the staples. Like figure out a deck that you like. Like in this case, for example, you were saying Iset Blitz. So you figure out the deck that you like, and then you start building from the ground up. And I literally mean from the ground. So you can start with the fetch lands. The fetch lands and shock lands, which are the cards that are usually the best investments because they very rarely go down in value. Like in Ravnica, which was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, when it got printed. I don't even know, but the shock lands got printed not long ago, and still the shock lands, like the original shock lands, are like $25, like, or the original breeding pool is like $25 or something like that. And so the shock lands are always a good investment, and fetch lands, same thing. You can reprint them, but like the demand for those cards is just consistent, and it's always high because they are always the best form of fixing, and you need fixing to play decks regardless of format. Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, whatever, it doesn't matter. You always need your fixing. So I always recommend like investing in the mana base first, and then unless you want to start playing and you don't mind playing with a suboptimal deck. If you are one of those that doesn't mind playing with a suboptimal deck, you can just start by just getting the cards. So if you want to buy mono red, just buy a mono red deck with a bunch of mountains and don't play any canopy lands, and just, you know, just buy the cards that actually do stuff, right? Like buy your Goblin Guys, buy your Lightning Bolts, etc. With some 2 color decks like Rebels, you don't run basics of 1 color, so instead of having to run 4 Tarns, you could run 4 Footis or no Myers. Yeah, exactly. So you can choose the cheaper fetch land as well. That's also true, what Muldrota's saying. But yeah, if you want to like wait and you don't want to play the deck until it's optimal, I recommend buying the fetch lands and the mana base first, and then the rest of the deck. And if you don't mind playing with a suboptimal deck, you can also just, you know, do the opposite and buy the cards first, and then you buy the mana. It's also a thing with people lending you cards. That's another thing. If you have a friend that owns all the fetch lands, all the fetches and shocks, then what you can do is you can ask your friend to lend you the cards, and then you can buy the cards, you know, like buy the Goblin Guides, etc. But yeah, the most important thing is buy a deck that you like. Don't buy a deck because it's cheap. So I think that you are a lot better off if it takes you like 6 months or a year to buy this deck, like Jeskai Control, but you really, really, really love to play this deck. So you're going to be playing this deck for years to come. I think it's a lot better to do that than it is to, okay, Storm is cheap, and then every time you play Storm, you're like, you know, you're not having a good time, or you're not enjoying it, or something like that, you know. So those are my recommendations. I like so many modern decks. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I own a lot of modern decks in paper, but I did make that mistake. Like I own Storm, and I did own Burn. I think I traded Burn away, but like those were like, oh yeah. When I started playing Modern, I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, sweet. Let's buy Burn or Storm, because I mean the cards for those decks are just cheap, right? Sweet. And then I basically played Storm in like one event, and I did terribly, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't like this deck. Not only did I not do well, but I also didn't really enjoy playing it. So, but yeah, that would be my recommendation for you as you're getting into the whole modern ecosystem. Everyone, I have a lot of decks, but a master of none. It hinders more than it helps, yeah. Yeah, that's my point. Alright, so we finished this league. I think I'm gonna cut it right now, because I am gonna be writing a cyber guide for my... I'm writing a cyber guide for my Twitch subscribers and my Patreon supporters. So I'm going to go do that right now, and I'm gonna, well, need time. If I continue streaming, I'm not gonna be able to. I did enjoy this deck a lot, though. I had a good time, and I think what I would do is I would definitely add one more land, and maybe I would test something like cut one of the flagstones and add maybe one more steam vent. And I don't think I want to fetch, but I probably could see adding a basic island, for example. Maybe a second Triumph could be interesting. Another Hallowed Fountain, maybe? Yeah, I don't know what I would add, but certainly I would be interested in adding one more land up to 25. Maybe you can cut like a Teferi. And then the Madcap Experiment plan is interesting, and it's probably pretty good, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how much I love the amount of slots that it takes up. So, whenever, like, we got paired against Infect this league, and we were completely naked. Like, we just had nothing for the matchup. We had, like, one Anger of the Gods that we brought in, and I was very sad. Usually, instead of this, what you would do is you would play cards like timely reinforcements, you would play more Anger of the Gods, you would play stuff like that in order to fence off aggro. But here we are just playing Platinum Empyrean instead. Also, this is worse against this package, I mean, is worse against stuff like the Druid deck, for example, or the Heliod deck. All of those decks, you want to be bringing in all of your removal, because obviously they are creature combo deck. But the Mad Cat package doesn't do anything against those decks. So I don't know how much I love it. I know that Spike loves it, so that's why we see it here. But if I were the one building this deck, I would cut this, maybe shave one of the Tail Scents, add another Dispute, probably add a couple more Anger of the Gods. I'm interested in, I don't know if maximizing on Path, but at least playing a Purge in the sideboard. Honestly, I could see maxing on Path, if I'm being honest, and then maybe a couple of timely reinforcements. So if I were to play another league with this deck, I would go with something like this. This is what I would go for. I don't know if the third Teferi is the card to cut. Maybe it's the second big Teferi. Maybe it's the third Cryptic. Maybe it's the third Shark Typhoon. I don't have enough matches under my belt in order to know which one would be the proper cut. But this is what I would at least try for the next league that I would play with this deck. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for this week. Hope that you enjoy it, and I will be back over on Monday. I'm gonna be out of town this weekend, so no streaming from me, but I'm gonna be back next week. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the showcases are that next weekend. So if that is the case, and I am not mistaken, then we're gonna be testing for those. It's looking like I might be playing Green-White Reclaimer in that showcase, so I'm probably going to... I might spend the whole week just tuning Reclaimer to play in the event. So stay tuned for that, of course. I'm going to be posting about it, so you can hear about it there. But don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.